Quiet, you doddering rattletrap! Such threats compel me no longer. I now answer to no one. I've seen through the lies of both sides. In time, everyone will.
Unwarranted optimism may be a sign of a more serious imbalance. Please see a curativist before boarding.
Despite my love for many games Obsidian Entertainment has created, The Outer Worlds was one of the few that made me feel a bit conflicted. The story, high-quality dialogues, and RPG elements were there, but the gameplay didn't hook me until the final DLC launch. Still, I was extremely excited to see we'd get a sequel to this game, and after playing The Outer Worlds 2, I can confidently say that it is not just a follow-up game with much better gameplay, deeper RPG systems, and meaningful dialogue choices. It is the quintessential sci-fi RPG experience of the year.
Ain't easy moving between companies, and I wasn't always with Auntie's choice. But that's a story for another time.
For this adventure, you will wear the spacefaring suit of an Air Directorate agent tasked with a dangerous mission at a space station. After a few things go wrong, you're thrown into Arcadia with the sole purpose of stopping a calamity that could spell doom to the whole galaxy.
What? You want money too? Law, we're pinching bits as it is to make wires touch.
You will be hopping from one planet to another, recruiting all sorts of companions that go from the goody two-shoes to the I can fix her type of character, in one of the most memorable and shocking plots that I have experienced in recent memory, which shows the high quality of storytelling and world-building skills that Obsidian Entertainment has. If you like what Obsidian crafted for The Outer Worlds in terms of storytelling, you will end up falling in love here. The Outer Worlds 2 elevates every aspect of its story with better characters and a lot of player agency that lets you shape the galaxy and your whole adventure depending on what you pick.
Enemy approximating in our vicinity, Commander.
One of my biggest issues with modern games that throw in the RPG tag into their descriptions just because they have dialogue options is the fact that none of them have impactful choices. You get a bunch of options to reply to one NPC, and in the end all of them are the same. It makes me mad because it feels like a cheap attempt to make a game into something that it is not. Fortunately, that's not the case for The Outer Worlds 2 because every single choice you make, whether it is a dialogue option or a skill allocation, will vastly change how your whole adventure unfolds. One example happens during the tutorial. You exit your ship to begin your mission, and in this area, which should be a breeze because it is a way to teach you the ropes of the game, it already offers you about a dozen choices when it comes to how to reach the end. For this part, I went with my trusty stealth build and I was able to pass unnoticed with a bit of backstabbing here and there. However, I realized there were many options to approach the situation, such as going in guns blazing, or another path that led me to hack mechs to fight for me, and even another path that let me be more diplomatic and not fight many enemies. This gameplay design continues with every main and side mission you encounter, with the former having even more branching paths. In one key part of the game's first act, I had to make a choice that would impact something for the rest of my playthrough. Also, these choices aren't exclusive to just dialogue options, as your skills will also play a critical role when going through several quests. While some options just change the outcome a little bit, such as those that make your character look a bit aggressive, dismissive, or lawful good, there are several that require a specific skill check and will also affect how a mission develops. This is just me scratching the surface, however, because the depth when it comes to choices is incredible, and you will be surprised to see that even the shortest mission will offer you a couple of options to solve it. Naturally, this adds to the replayability aspect of The Outer Worlds 2, which is, so far, one of the most replayable titles Obsidian Entertainment has created.
Missions Acna and Gastrell. You stand accused of manufacturing a fatal flaw in one of our valued dragoons. Have you any last words to express your shame?
That Dragoon was already defective. Oh, we were only rebuilding the logic assembly so that...
At last, the truth alights. I hope this belated confession unburdens your conscience.
There are many weapons to pick from in Outer Worlds 2, from the normal ones that deal raw damage to the ones that go for plasma, corrosion, or shock damage. This sequel also offers ample mod options for your weapons and armor, turning a marksman rifle's bullets into explosive ones, or adding silencers to sniper rifles and pistols to help you be the best space assassin. Perks and skills play a huge role when it comes to crafting your build. Each time you level up, you will get 2 skill points to spend in any of the skills, ranging from stealth to melee, and to science or lockpicking. The higher your skill, the more perks you can unlock that belong to that particular skill, and then some new perks will also become available once you keep a few. In addition, flaws are back and they are more interesting than ever. If you are unaware of what these things are, flaws will appear periodically in the game and will give you a positive boost to something but with a permanent effect. One example is the bad knees flaw, which shows up if you've been sneaking around for a long time. You will be better at stealth with this flaw, but the downside is that enemies will hear you because your knees will make a sound when you're near them. These are just another example of how customizable, unpredictable, and unique your playthrough can become, and of course that also applies to combat as well. In my case, I went full stealth with silenced weapons and a few companions that gave me damage boosts. Without realizing it, I was clearing enemy camps easily. However, fights against alien enemies and bosses were challenging because my build wasn't tailored to them. However, this isn't a complaint, it is just one way of showing you how much player agency the game provides, allowing you to experience this sequel in whatever way you want. Also, as a side note, I recommend playing the game with the hardest difficulty because it encourages you to plan your build correctly and use every mod, weapon type, status effect, and gadget to your benefit. Apart from these features, you will also have your trustworthy and sometimes crazy companions. Each one has their own personality, and they will even challenge your decisions to the point that one could make them leave your party for good. I also appreciated how your allies are so reactive among themselves, with a couple of them making remarks at new crew members. In combat, each companion has an ability that fills up passively during a fight. Some can heal you, some can be your tank, and you can also unlock mods for them that will change their playstyle even more.
I get the sense you ain't too fond of Auntie's Choice. Any reason why?
Maybe on account of them being a giant, malignant corporate entity? Reminds me of the one I grew up under. And that ain't a compliment.
In terms of visuals, Arcadia looks much better with terrific level design, from massive interior levels with hidden paths to vast open areas that take you to a den of alien monsters ready to rip you apart. Everything looks beautiful and feels great to explore. However, there's one small technical issue. I was able to play The Outer Worlds 2 thanks to the Play Anywhere feature of Xbox, and I tried it first on my Series S, and while it ran great, I wanted to try it on my new 5070 and see how it ran on PC. As expected, it performed much better on the latter, and I experienced no crashes, major bugs, or strange glitches. However, without frame generation, the frame rate would oscillate between 40 and 70 and then back to 60, and in some cases even 30 frames per second. With frame generation enabled, I was able to cap it at 100 frames per second, which is my monitor's refresh rate, and I never had a single frame drop. This doesn't make the game unplayable, but it is something that you should keep in mind if you don't have the latest frame generation technology.
Coming for you!
The Outer Worlds 2 is hands down the best RPG under Obsidian Entertainment's belt. While this studio has created some of the most memorable role-playing experiences, this sequel eclipses them in every possible way, from its characters to its narratives, to its deep RPG mechanics that make every single playthrough feel unique. Everything feels like the studio putting its years of experience to create another quintessential RPG. For that reason, we scored The Outer Worlds 2 with a 9.5 out of 10. Remember to like and subscribe, and for more game reviews, follow thenerdstash.com.